Thank you for listening to REED-BBS.
REED-BBS. BBS. Gervonta Tank Davis versus everybody. Tank versus the world. Welterweights, super bantamweights, and everybody in between. Tank's name is being dropped in all kinds of potential matchups. Hell, even my mama been mentioning a possible fight with Tank. But low-key, my mama ain't as far past her prime as Team Tank thinks. She's what I would call a young 72, but I digress. In no particular order, one of the names being mentioned is Terence Crawford, undisputed welterweight champion, about to vacate his laurels at 147 pounds and do the rematch with Spence at 54. Tank, he initially said, we said years ago that Bud had a suspect chin. After Bud's impressive win over Earl Spence, one-sided win, Tank said he believes he'd stop Bud Crawford in 6 rounds. Not that Bud believed it, the legitimacy of Tank's assertion at all, but Bud made it clear that's a money fight for him, and he'd stay at 47 for Tank and Tank only. That's it. Of course, Tank has now recently confessed to joking around on Twitter when he said what he said, trolling basically. Survey says, that one ain't happening. Another name is Gary Russell Jr., which would represent an all DMV battle. That's D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, the D.C. metro area. It's been talked about for years now, usually by Russell himself. Russell's last fight was on the Tank Hector Luis Garcia card against the rapper Meek Mill. It was a brief altercation involving Gary Russell, Meek Mill, and Wallow from $1 Million Worth of Game, the podcast. Now, Russell's last actual sanctioned boxing match was 20 months ago when he took an L to Mark Moxeo. And that's just it. Inactivity has been the constant overriding theme of Gary Russell's career. So there's no reason to entertain his Tank talk, which would just be a cash out any fucking ways. Survey says, and moving on to my dude, my bruh, my Tomodachi, Naoya Inoue, the undisputed super bantamweight champion. Urban and mainstream American audiences, they starting to check for Inoue now. Been telling y'all for years, but now you starting to check for him. Fresh off that beatdown with cheese over a unified champ, Cool Boy Steph. Now, Steven Espinosa, head of Showtime, he's interested in Tank versus Inoue. Floyd and Mayweather Promotions are interested in Tank versus Inoue. So don't rule this one out, man, because here's the rub. Inoue is ambitious as fuck, and simultaneously, Tank would undoubtedly welcome the challenge of a smaller man, a man who would probably make some noise at the cash registers in terms of pay-per-view views. And Tank would view it as an easy payday and easy-ass lick. So yeah, don't rule this one out at all, especially if they can agree to a catch weight somewhere between 122 and 135. Keep your eyes on that one. Another matchup, Sugar Sean O'Malley. Welcome to the Sugar Show. Just as Tank is the hottest name in the game, rocking the chain, Sean O'Malley is the hottest name in his game, mixed martial arts. Now, it's not going to happen anytime soon, but I'm smelling this one already for, let's say, late 2024, 25-ish. I mean, this could be Floyd versus Conor McGregor 2.0, the fucking reboot. And if neither of these men loses a fight by then, shit, fucking game on. That's what's up. A lower level name that's been thrown around, Chris Colbert. I've heard his name a couple times. The problem is, if Colbert's boxing game was on par with his verbal game, this would be an excellent ass fight. But as is, as currently constituted, Chris Colbert poses no threat whatsoever. I mean, hell, by comparison, Devin Haney punches like Mike Tyson. Devin Haney punches like fucking Mike Tyson in comparison to Chris Colbert. So, yeah, there's nothing to see here, folks. Nothing whatsoever. The final and most likely name being thrown around as a possible future or even next opponent for Tank Davis. It's a familiar foe. Isak Pitbull Cruz. Y'all remember the time. Remember the time when we first met, girl. You remember? You remember when they first met, right? Tank hurt his hand. Pitbull became one of just 2 men to go the distance with Tank. And the other guy that went the distance with Tank was 10 years ago in a fucking 4-round fight. This is the fight Coach Calvin Ford, Tank's trainer, has spoken about the most. I think Pitbull will be next. But you never know with Tank, man. He's, after that Ryan pay-per-view, over 1 million pay-per-view sales. It's like his prom season, and Tank is the pretty girl that everybody wants to date with. So as soon as we get an official date, official name, hey, keep your ears peeled and locked and loaded for your boy, because I'll be here letting you know. REED-BBS, BBS. Blackbird Sugar, Bachelor's in Boxing Studies. Television! Fred Sanford of the Fistic Arts. When all is said and done, there's nothing left to say or do.